All right, Adam, welcome everyone to Idiot Seeking Village. I'm Rich, that's Adam. Adam, did you catch any of the FBI trying to explain how Antifa is a terror organization, but they can't who is involved, where it's at, or where to even begin to uproot them?
No, they actually had to go into like some form of detail for that.
Yeah, no, they had a House hearing last week because obviously NSPM 7, Trump's whole proclamation that we covered a couple weeks ago, came out. Antifa is a domestic terrorist organization. Again, domestic terror organization is not an official label in any sort of meaningful legal way. And they had one of the heads of the FBI, Director Michael Glasheen, testifying before the House Committee on Homeland Security on December 11th. And he was asked about Antifa size, location, all this sort of stuff. And he had no answers. He couldn't answer any of the questions.
They're all splinter cells.
The best answer he could come up with, well, the investigations are active.
They're ongoing.
Exactly.
Just like JFK and MLK, they're all active investigations somewhere.
Yeah, no, he kept just basically saying it's a very fluid situation. We're still investigating. It's ongoing. But then he kind of circled back. It's like, they're no different than Al-Qaeda or ISIS. Again, what are you using to justify that? How can you say that they're Al-Qaeda or ISIS when they literally don't exist as an organization?
And usually with, the same as ISIS and Al-Qaeda, usually you have like a top wanted list.
Yes.
So who are the main guys on the list of Antifa that we're looking for? Because what if I live next door to him? Let me know. Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's also, it continues to be this NSPM 7 is just the gift that keeps on giving here. So apparently journalists over at The Intercept have been sending in Freedom of Information Act requests and asking for clarification. They've been saying, hey, you guys keep using this term. Let me pull up the exact term. Yes, designated terrorist organization. And they're using that to define the Venezuelan situation, right? All those boats, these are designated terror organizations. And they kind of use it side by side with that domestic terror organization, right? That they're calling Antifa and NSPM 7 and all that. And they're saying, okay, well, for these designated terror organizations, you're conducting these unilateral strikes to execute. Does that right to do summary executions, does that extend to domestic terror organizations, of which you've labeled Antifa as one of them? And everyone just keeps passing the buck and ignoring the request. This isn't just, again, you and I talked about this last week, right? Which is, what's to stop someone from sending a cruise missile at a protest at some point that they don't like and saying that it's Antifa. Tammy Duckworth, the senator from Illinois, was out there on record talking about this, right? This isn't just you or I speculating about this, that we have sitting senators calling this into question at the moment as well. So this is continues to get interesting. Again, we're really pushing the limits on constitutional rights, the right to habeas corpus, to face your accuser, to have a list of the charges against you, to defend yourself in court, and continuing to fuzzy that line and make everything a little bit grayer.
Yeah, it makes sense just to make it as gray as possible, because you don't want to fix the things that can be fixed. And if you want complete control, I mean, this seems like this is the way to do it.
Yeah. To go back to what I was saying before, The Intercept has asked the White House directly and the Justice Department and the Department of Defense, aka Department of War, about this. And everyone's just straight up ignored the question. They've answered other questions, but they keep ignoring this particular one, which should be the concerning thing, right? It's not just everyone, it's kind of like, hey, you can kind of connect the dots here. They're deliberately being shady about their right to commit just unsanctioned murder against
people. They should just reply, we're not going to answer you, fat little piggy.
That would be, that would be a better answer than a non-answer, I think.
Well, this way they could say, maybe got lost somewhere. But here it'd be like, no, little pig, you're just a little piggy, aren't you?
They should do what Musk did after he bought Twitter and just make the press release questions that come in auto-reply with a poop emoji.
Is that what he did?
Yeah, real genius level work there. We're really being run by adults here, Adam.